Warning. The following podcast is utter nonsense and may cause agoraphobia, kleptomania, insomnia, and oppositional defiance disorder. We are required by law to provide you with this disclaimer for hazardous materials.
And welcome to the newest spot for Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week, the show where we talk about last week's comics this week.
Yeah, and then at the end we sprinkle a little bit of multimedia news just to keep things fresh and keep you informed.
My name is Casey Johnson. With me, as always,
Gideon Gonzalez.
Now we got to dive a little bit deep into the issue we've all been waiting for.
Yeah,
is Superman 18. When we heard about this was going to happen, he's going to reveal his identity. This has hit a lot of news speed. People have been waiting for this issue. Boom, it hits. What are your thoughts?
I was super skeptical going in. I was like, well, that's the dumbest premise I've ever heard.
I was too.
I love me some Clark Kent stuff, but I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. And I really loved it.
This issue really hit it off.
It is the best thing Bendis has done since he's come to DC.
Yeah, this issue was exceptionally well done. I know that we went through something similar to this back when, Peter Parker was doing it. I like the fact that he just didn't go just reveal to everybody all at the same time. He went to his friends and goes, hey, listen, you need to know about this. And my very favorite part of this, and I'm going to show it here, is him showing Perry White.
Oh, that was really touching.
Completely silent, and they're hugging at the end. It was like, oh my God, this is the most touching thing I've seen in comic books this year.
I loved Jimmy Olsen's bit where he's like, no, Jimmy, I'm Clark. It's like, are you doing an impression?
Are you doing a bit? You just look like you're Superman wearing glasses.
Your Batman's way better.
And then you see him, he's sitting, and he's got one frame where he's got straight face, and then he's smiling like a loon, and he goes, Lois told you, didn't she? She goes, yeah.
It was a really sweet issue, and I can't believe I'm saying this after all of the naysaying I've done on Bendis' run, but I'm on board. One other kind of thing I want to throw out about this issue is Ivan Reis' art. It's been slowly creeping towards Neil Adams. I never realized it until the last page. That Lex Luthor face, that is some Neil Adams cross-hatching beauty.
Oh, let's talk about that page too. And I'm going to show it to you here because damn if that isn't a payoff. I've been waiting for years to see.
I loved that. Oh my God.
Luthor, how did you not see this? Just hatred.
I love that he's shocked so much that he transforms from Apex Lex back into like regular Lex Luthor.
Because there's no way around it. Lex had no clue, and he feels stupid.
It's one of my favorite issues from John Byrne's run. I think it's the Superman #2, where he has this big fancy computer and a whole team working on who Superman is. And it comes up at the end of this. She's like, oh yeah, it's this guy Clark Kent. And Lex just tears it up and's like, you're all fired. This is ridiculous.
I swear, this has really been the Lex Luthor payoff I've been waiting for all my life to see. Is him just egg on his face, realizing how absolutely wrong he was. And they did it perfectly. This scowl in his frame is perfect.
I'm a little worried for the next issue since they've already shown a preview picture of the Daily Planet destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, Lex Luthor, you just ratchet up his hatred to 100-fold. He's going to do something.
And hopefully we get some stuff with this with regular Lex and not Apex Lex, because I'm sick of that guy.
Yeah.
Sick of that white Martian looking stretchy finger bastard.
Yeah, I don't think he really suits the story it needs. No. And I think that's the reason why they gave him his human face, because whoever was drawing this clearly knew we all wanted to see Lex fail.
Oh yeah,
and that's what we did.
Like that last page is one of my favorite things I've ever seen Ivan Reis drawn. And this is the guy who did Blackest Night. There's some great pages out there from him.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of my actually favorite artists. This isn't the problematic artist, is it? No. Okay, good. No. I get him mixed up with the other one because they both did Green Lantern and he did so well.
Ivan Reis is the better Green Lantern artist.
I'm actually going to read Superman. I have never read Superman or wanted to read Superman ever since the death and then the rebirth when they brought the Four. Then I was like, the mystery, who's the real one?
My favorite thing about Return of Superman is that a lot of Six Flags parks, because they all have of their DC branding, a lot of it's from the 90s. So there's still a few rides that have like mystery stuff with the Four Supermen.
Oh yeah, I've seen it pop up here.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, a little cross thing for the news we did. I was watching the Crisis on Infinite Earths thing, and they did a little Death of Superman thing. It was like a 3-second thing.
Yeah, I saw that bit.
But it was like perfectly mirroring that comic. We'll get a little deep into that a little bit later. Poor Gideon here hasn't watched all the episodes.
I haven't gotten to watch them yet. There's too much TV to watch.
There is way too much TV to watch because you're way ahead on Watchmen, and you can't tell me Watchmen stuff that I clearly need to know, and I'm episodes behind.
Oh, it's so good.
But I am above my Mandalorian.
So another DC work that is very, very topical, Dark Knight 4. From the Golden Child, not to confuse with the Eddie Murphy classic, The Golden Child.
No, but this is another shot of Frank Miller writing.
Yeah. And you know what?
What's going to happen?
Best thing he's written in quite a long time.
Much better than the crap he's been writing with Superman.
Rafael Grampa's art, which is the whole reason I was interested in reading the book at all, because I'm a huge fan of his for years, and I love seeing him get a big shot like this.
I don't think I've really ever seen this guy or known him enough to say, okay, that's that guy. Yeah. But I mean, look at these frames we've got, especially let's take a look at Batwoman or Batgirl here. That looks great.
Yeah. And Carrie Kelly as Batwoman is what I have wanted from Dark Knight sequels since I first read Dark Knight Returns.
And she looks great. Yeah. She totally takes this book. One of my favorite parts is when Superman's daughter, who's almost a nihilist in her way of thinking about human people, and she's talking, she's like, why would I take, information or orders from a bat person or a flying rat? And Kelly just totally dresses her down in one frame, and at the end she goes, okay, I'm listening.
I loved her classic Frank Miller narration. She's like, the boss would do this, and she only refers to Batman as the boss.
Yeah, but it's clear we're looking at the same narration type that we saw with Batman in the Superman books.
It's great seeing her just how hyper competent she is, how she thinks through all the fights, all the strategy used. Just, it's so good. I'm actually thankful that I can see that Frank Miller hasn't completely lost his shit. Yeah, this feels like classic Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And on that, classic Frank Miller, very, very political.
Very much so. When I was reading this book, I was shocked at how on the nose it is. And it took me a while to realize that this is not new.
Yeah.
Frank Miller did this exact same thing back in the 80s. Outright using Ronald Reagan's imagery for everything.
And we see Ronald Reagan's USA flag suit in here being worn by the Joker.
Right.
Who is back after his famous death in Dark Knight Returns. And they just hand wave away with the Joker saying, the Joker never dies.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. Much better than getting a stupid 2 or 3 page.
It was interesting seeing that not only Joker, but Darkseid pushing the Trump campaign.
And the most shocking thing to me is how well Frank Miller writes Darkseid. Because this is phenomenal Darkseid stuff.
Of all the times I've watched and read Darkseid, because my first real exposure to Darkseid was back in the Legion of the Superheroes. And I was like, who's this guy? He just seems like a Marvel villain. He seems like Thanos, which I had known really well by that time.
Ironically, Thanos being the Diet Darkseid.
It is a Diet Darkseid.
And then Mongol's the Diet Thanos and Apocalypse is the Diet Mongol.
So I really didn't understand really what Darkseid was. And he was wrapped up in the New Gods. And I was like, okay, this is an evil New God. It was only until this book that I got the concept that he is darkness personified. Yeah, he's essential to the cosmos.
Darkseid is.
And I was like, well, that explains a lot of his power scale.
They Miller really understand that Darkseid's not a big dumb punching bag. He is this corrupting force. And the things that are most interesting with Darkseid is when he's at his most mundane and just bringing out the worst in people.
Yeah. And his Omega beams are serious business.
Yeah. They send you to a random point in time and space.
Yeah. I remember he hit Batman with it. Right before Darkest
Final
Night.
Crisis,
yeah, and apparently this is the first time I've ever actually seen his Omega rays used against him, and that was smart.
Yeah, that was cool as hell
because he couldn't see where they were going, so they hit him. That's smart. I don't know if you've ever seen a Darkseid story. He's got a beam comes out of his eyes, but it's not the whole straight thing. This shit just goes. Starts angling and going after you, and it's a nightmare because you really can't dodge the damn thing. And she uses, smoke or something, so he couldn't see it hit himself.
Yeah,
and then he checks out.
And Lara moves at super speed to get out of the way.
That was pretty smart. I'm not bad. I like this book.
Yeah, I hope they do more of it in this vein because it was a self-contained story, but I'd like to see more of it. I will say this though. The least interesting part of the book is the titular Golden Child, who is Clark and Diana's son, Jonathan, who is kind of a bore. Like, he's a very powerful, very smart child.
He seems like the Jiminy Cricket, the conscience of the story.
Yeah.
Because Laura needs it. Damn, does she need it? Because right out the bat, I mean, you see in this frame, I'm going to show you here, where she's just regarding everybody, just all they do is eat and die and make filth. They're like vermin. I'm like, lady, you've already done this on page 1. This is not going to end well for you.
Yeah.
And so, obviously the corruption thing, which we've seen before with the Supergirl series when she was wearing the black outfit, because when Darkseid wants to corrupt your ass, he's going to do it. There's no slouch about corruption. So when I saw her talking like this, it's like, I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
The only thing the story was missing for me in terms of Darkseid content, he didn't show up on anyone's chair. I'm a big fan of Darkseid showing up.
Chair stealing?
Yes. The best Darkseid stuff is when he just shows up in your living room, drinking your brandy, waiting for you to come home. I love that stuff.
I don't know. That sounds on par with the Thanos copter.
No, this goes back to Kirby, New Gods #1.
Really?
Orion goes into his apartment on Earth, and there's Darkseid just chilling. Oh, it might not be New Gods #1, but it's in the original New Gods stuff. Well, we'll throw up the page from it.
But Thanos copter. it's a big yellow chopper with Thanos written on it.
Thanos copter also rules, but not for the thematic reasons that Darkseid in a chair works.
Okay, you're very, very true. We're talking about Darkseid Light and his propensity for Earth aircraft.
Saying never going to see Thanos showing up in somebody's living room.
That's true. He's not one for sitting in other people's lazy chairs.
No, he's got his own space chairs.
No, definitely so. Okay, moving right along, we've got the newest villain of the
Year of the Villain special, but this one is Villain of the Year. Harley Quinn presents the Doomies.
I love this.
I did too. I never would have picked up. I'm not a big Harley fan, you know this.
Yep.
But I am a huge Mark Russell fan. The writer of Second Coming. He's doing he did that Riddler one shot.
Oh yeah, you like that. I remember that.
Love the guy. And this was just a really fun award show issue, which
really over the top.
Yeah, very silly.
I like seeing Killer Croc in a tux.
Yes, I liked seeing Black Manta with a little hat.
Yes.
All of the villain formal wear was great. Cheetah's torn up suit.
There was a lot of tropes being thrown around because they showcased all the categories because apparently this was voted on by fans.
Yes, and I really regret not voting because Batman villains kind of swept.
Yeah, they did. Except for Red Hood. That was a surprise.
I mean, he's a Batman.
Red Hood showed up.
He's a Batman villain.
Yeah, but Villain of the Year itself, though, was in the hands of the writer, and that turned out to be Flamingo, who I've never heard of.
Oh, Flamingo's so good.
I've never heard of Flamingo.
So Flamingo was one of the Dick Grayson Batman era villains, which is kind of plays into Grant Morrison's take being Batman 66, but a horror movie. And the Flamingo was a mute Spanish assassin who would eat the faces of his victims.
That's what they were talking about.
Yes.
Because they did actually talk about him being in a category of best villain that eats faces. And it was like 2 people there. Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was his deal. He's just kind of shown up in like backgrounds and other Batman runs. Like you have a bunch of guys in Arkham, the Flamingo will be there. He actually showed up lobotomized in the Batman's grave recently. So I was like, oh, this is a nice like final Flamingo story before he goes off to get lobotomized.
I like the fact that the ventriloquist got a shout out.
Yeah.
And almost quickly as he got his shout out, his dummy started just dressing him down. I was like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to get another dummy?
I think my favorite gag was during the Best Motivation Award when it's the Thomas Wayne Batman watching Batman from the corner going, my boy, my sweet baby boy.
Was it, they call it a hover or a helicopter parent?
Yes. And Leviathan, he dismantled Argus. Shade. Why? I don't know. I just don't like acronyms. But yeah, ultimately the Villain of the Year award that was voted on does not go to Flamingo. It goes to the Batman Who Laughs, which I'm like, well, popularity contest, you know?
It was
no
about
accounting
that
for
time.
taste.
Yeah, that's what I finally realized because I didn't know about this contest. Mm-hmm. And I was reading this and I saw when the Batman Who Laughs showed up twice. And I was like, oh, this really is a popularity contest. Yeah. This really was voted on. I'm kind of curious, though. I don't recognize the red-headed woman that's with Killer Croc.
Oh, that's Enchantress.
Oh.
In the Rebirth Suicide Squad run, they were an item.
I thought the Enchantress had black hair.
And they go back and forth on it. The Rebirth Enchantress has red hair.
Because the Enchantress I know is from Shadow Pact.
And has a big witchy hat.
And she has a big witchy hat.
Love Enchantress.
I love Shadow Pact.
Such a good series. It's got Detective Chimp.
It does.
And Blue Devil. And Nightmaster, the most metal hero ever.
Right? I mean, no one uses Nightmaster.
I believe he's dead now, unfortunately.
Oh.
Killed off in Dark Knight's metal.
Yeah, no one uses the Detective Chimp. I mean,
he's in Justly Dark with the Nightmaster sword.
But only after Shadow Pact happened.
That's true.
Shadow Pact for me was kind of like my intro into DC villain books and just really enjoying them. And then, of course, that went to Secret Six, which is my all-time favorite DC book. I think
Enchantress was the only villain in that group.
Nightshade.
Nightshade, she's pretty much a hero.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but she was like one of the hero people.
I think it's okay. Well, it's a mixture of villains.
She's got an evil
heroes.
Once she absorbed Enchantress in Suicide Squad, she kind of became more villainous. But yeah, I'll agree that compromise.
Okay.
Blue Devil.
There's obviously a debate to be made, and you're right, and I'm right, so everybody's right. All right.
Everyone wins.
Everyone, yes. All right. So moving right along, talking about villainous, Captain Marvel 13.
Oh my God. So every time one of these comes out, I have to listen to the Space Jam theme because it's just Carol Danvers dunking on the Marvel Universe, and it rules.
I love that description. That's perfect. Because she's all talking about how to take care of these people, and it's not through talking. It's not through exchanging of ideals. It's how you hit them hard, you hit them fast, and you don't let them think.
Slam.
Welcome to the jam.
I love that the Thor fight took an entire issue. The Tony fight takes maybe half.
Yeah.
Like a third, probably.
I'm taking off all of your armor and throwing you to an alternate dimension. Damn. Score 2.
Yeah. That was, I really liked seeing, I'm totally blanking on her name. It's not Nebula. She's from A-Force, the spacey girl.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to remember her name. It's like, it starts on S?
It's not Andromeda. It's not Galaxy. It's
something
like
spacey.
That. Yeah, we'll remember. Spacey girl.
Yeah, and she's from A-Force. She was definitely created in A-Force, and that's the pocket dimension that she's throwing them. So this person, this thing, was his Vox?
Yes, Vox.
Doesn't know what she's doing. And it's like, that's cool. Okay, so
Vox merged with the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I didn't know that either. I guess that bit of Captain Marvel slipped by me. That's unusual.
It was in an editor's note. It was like, what's this? Vox, the villain of Death of the Inhumans, merged with the Supreme Intelligence?
That's why I didn't know, because it was the Inhumans, and Inhumans sucks.
It's true. Let
that sink in. Inhumans sucks.
I can think of 2 good non-Fantastic Four Inhuman stories. It's Inhumans by Jay Lee and Paul Jenkins from the Marvel Knight stuff. That story rules.
Is that the Karnak stuff?
Karnak's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Ellis's Karnak's pretty solid. I'll give it that. Oh, actually, Sully and Ahmed's Black Bolt, that rules.
I had a friend of mine that swore by the whole Karnak story.
It's pretty solid. It's not my favorite, like modern day Ellis. It's no Moon Knight, but it's pretty good.
Nothing is no Moon Knight.
And Chris Priest did a really good Inhumans origin with Phil Noto that I would highly recommend.
I don't care for the royal family. I don't care for Gorgon. I barely can tolerate Crystal, just because most of the stuff she's done has usually been like away from this. She seems like the most grounded, and I dig her powers. They're kind of cool. But Medusa and Black Bolt can suck it.
Black Bolt's had a really good solo book in the last 2 years. I'm not a big Black Bolt guy.
How's the dialogue on that?
Actually really good. He's cellmates in Space Jail with Absorbing Man.
Space Jail. Absorbing Man. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. They surprisingly bond very well.
Absorbing Man was actually in my very first Avengers comics I ever read.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fun. I love Absorbing Man. He's one of my favorite villains.
He absorbed, like, I guess the metal, the ship he was on, and it made it like super giant and all red.
It's one of the early Carol Danvers joining the Avengers issues, right? It's like in the 160s or something.
In the deal, like right before she disappeared, and then that horrible Avengers 200 happened.
Yeah, this is like around Avengers like 160, 170, I think.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. I got those issues. They're great.
I can't believe you actually remember those issues. I'm so happy about that.
I love the Absorbing Man. I try to pick up everything I can with him. He's a really fun character.
He sucks on HeroClix, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this or not. My buddy Steve swears by Absorbing Man on HeroClix, because apparently he can heal all he wants, and he will only take damage from a specific die roll. So
that's really stupid. I hate that.
Yeah, you got 2 6-sided dice, and you have to get a specific number just to hurt him. So he'll just sit there just taking abuse all day, and my guys are like dying left and right because of his stupid absorbing.
He's one of the few Marvel Legends Build-A-Figures that I finished.
Really?
Yeah, I love that guy.
I did a Crimson Dynamo.
Ooh, did you see the Crimson Dynamo figure that's coming out?
The new one?
Mm-hmm.
No,
it looks good as hell.
That's right. Wow, we really should talk about that because we're getting a really nice, clean picture of Taskmaster from that action figure.
It still looks bad. It's got more color than we've seen, but I still hate the design.
And it's got the shield. It's got all the weapons that we should expect from Taskmaster. I want to be optimistic on this. Now, granted, we're not a big fan of that helmet. I'm hoping that the hood stays on.
Stupid goggles.
And his damn goggles. Thing. I'm hoping that whatever the story is around him and how he moves, because it is going to be about how he moves, is going to overcome how silly his helmet looks.
He's got to be snarky. Like he's got to have that like Brooklyn accent and just.
And there's nobody actually cast as him. No one is in the cast saying as Taskmaster.
I hate that. Don't like that at all.
Yeah, because there's a lot of theories. People are thinking that it might be Rachel Weisz's character. It might be this other guy named it starts with an M. I really should have been more prepared when I started babbling about this. And
introducing Matt Damon as Taskmaster.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, that rule? Take it back. That's awesome.
Funny thing. I don't know if I really should be spoiling Jane Silent Bob reboot. But
please don't. I still need to see it.
Okay. Because Matt Damon was in it.
I mean, I figured.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Oh my.
But we've gotten way off track.
We have. We got to get back in the comics.
Back. So this issue of Captain Marvel does kind of reveal it reveals that it's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But B, it also gives us their out. Which is a secret Avengers cloning initiative.
So apparently that's where she got the head from.
Yeah.
Okay, makes complete sense.
Yeah, so she is beating the holy hell out of her friends, but she didn't actually decapitate Thor.
But she's not really evil, and she has a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
A really good plan, too. I'm excited to see how this unfolds.
Yeah. Almost seems like she's wearing a symbiote.
Yeah, I think it's just one of Vox's fancy suits.
Oh, frickin' Vox.
Ugh. Maximus.
Are we putting Vox in the same level as Null?
Yeah,
I think
lame
so.
Donny Cates creations.
Oh God, he created both of them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did Death of the Inhumans.
It's so obvious.
It's a little 3-edge 5-me.
Okay, Donnie, just keep your writing. Don't bring in your OCs, man.
So
yeah, let's talk about Immortal Hulk because we know we're going to.
Oh, so good.
Now, I was talking to you about this earlier that I thought the first couple pages kind of look reminiscent of the old classic Hawkeye issues. Mm-hmm. You disagreed.
I mean, I think Tom Reilly's art's from a similar school as David Aja's, but like I don't think it's intentionally aping it. I think they're both just minimalist artists, kind of like I mentioned.
The framework actually was aping it.
I don't think so. It does. It's not. The colors aren't
too technical. Are we getting too technical?
The biggest difference for me is how minimalist Aja's color palette was.
Oh yeah,
and I feel like there's there's more than 3 colors per panel. You know.
Right. Now, of course, we're talking. Most of the story revolves around the Minotaur, CEO of Roxxon, and his propensity for squishing his subordinates' heads when he's irritated. This guy, it more emphasizes the fact he's out. Everybody knows he's this Minotaur.
Dario Agger.
And no one cares.
Yeah. I love how much Immortal Hulk has to say about the modern corporate hellscape.
Right.
Because it's so good. Because they are too big to fail.
I think it becomes one of those things where like a CEO or somebody in power does something that is demonstrative. Out there, that's not the correct word. Horrible.
Yes,
but then it's just glossed over.
Yeah,
and the public just says, well, I guess that's just the way it is.
Like, well, I got to keep using Facebook.
Yeah, it's Rupert Murdoch. He seems horrible. Everyone hates him. He's still in power.
Yeah,
still got a lot of things. He's the reason why Wall Street Journal is as investigative as it is. Well, that's a little bit of editorial. So I said I wasn't going to editorialize.
But yeah, I
listened to too much NPR.
Oh, there was so much good stuff in this issue. I loved what it had to say about the splintering of families. I loved what it had to say about one of the sinister ways corporates win by monetizing their opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Because in here, like the new version of the Teen Brigade is kids rising up and supporting Hulk's plan to destroy society, essentially.
Because basically in this world, Facebook is controlled by Roxxon.
Yes.
And what Hulk has done has effectively taken Facebook off. Yeah. And it seems so simple that we just took a website down. But imagine for like a while if like anybody, Facebook was down for a week. Imagine what that would do. Imagine just the footprint.
Mass panic in the streets.
I mean, it's just a website and just a week. But in that week, man.
And one of the big things is that because Hulk took down basically they were saving all of their users' data. And so they talk about how that's so heavily affected their ad revenue because they no longer have that to draw on. And so it ends with Dario Agger going to get help from an ancient evil who lives on Monster Island, which is currently cleared out because they're all hanging out in the Deadpool book.
Yeah.
And that, oh my God, it's such a good deep hole.
It really is. I never thought I would ever see this back again, but we have Zemu, the psionic alien.
The first Hulk.
Yeah, who looks like that big red monster from the Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah, Gossamer.
Yeah.
With like a skull cap on.
Oh my God, I can't believe you even know Gossamer's name. Points to you.
Thank you.
You impress me every day.
I try.
But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
There's it's not the next cover, but the cover after is going to have Hulk fighting Zenmu. And you get to see Alex Ross paint Zenmu, and it's amazing.
I haven't seen this, but I'm very excited about that. But we're going to go ahead and put that up as soon as we're done with this broadcast. I'm going to go check that cover out. Moving on, we're talking about yet another symbiote Spider-Man story.
They're still really good, so I'm still going to keep on buying them.
But where did Marvel get this idea to keep doing this?
Like, it almost feels like it should have just been one of those like throwback one shots, like the reunion specials they did. Like,
just do it for happiness. But I mean, this is like the second or third story.
Second one.
And they're throwing real money on it because it got Peter David on it.
Yeah. So, Peter David and Greg Land, unfortunately. But
oh, man. You know what? Well, we've gone this long without talking about Greg Land.
I don't like to smack talk Greg Land because I really love his 90s stuff. I like his work on Birds of Prey and Nightwing and the other bad books in the 90s.
Let's be responsible reporters. We won't smack talk Greg Land, but we're going to talk the facts. Facts remain. Greg Land likes to create art. Granted, Greg Land likes to revisit that art and put it on a new cover.
Yeah.
Greg Land likes to take bits of other people's art or photographs and put them on yet other people the covers he's done. Greg Land likes to reuse his stuff. Now, whether that is ethical, it definitely is lazy.
He gets the work done on time.
He does the work done on time. He does have nice, clean lines.
And he is, by all means,
he's not ugly.
A great dude. I've met him a couple times.
Yeah, but when you look at his stuff, one could be argued that kind of a work ethic is less than desirable.
Yeah, it definitely kind of just feels like copy and paste comics. Like, there's not a lot of soul in it.
Lots of people doing this.
Yeah. There's definitely a couple of panels in here where I was like, well, I think I know what genre old Greggy was using for this one. But so the thing I really liked about this miniseries, this first issue that really blew me away, was I went in thinking, oh, cool. It's the same thing as the first one, where like a kind of hitherto unseen symbiote 80s era Spider-Man story. Like a little lost episode.
But
the first one was Mysterio finds out the Venom symbiote and uses it. And I was like, oh, I love the Hobgoblin. One of my favorite Spidey villains of all time.
Same.
Can't wait to see what he does.
The classic Hobgoblin.
Yes.
Kingston.
Yes. Roderick
Kingsley.
And I was excited to see, he's like, oh, cool. He'll get the symbiote. How's that going to work? Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
No, not only did that not happen, Hobgoblin is the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, here's a picture of Hobgoblin going, God, I really hope you know what the other world is like because I really want you to suffer from this reveal.
Yeah. So Peter Parker, it starts with him fighting Kraven, and Kraven hits him with a poison that knocks him out, but the symbiote keeps fighting.
Right.
But when Pete comes to, Kraven is his sidekick who wears a little like
a jungle gym kind of outfit.
Exactly. I was going to say like a little going on a Disney jungle cruise
outfit. Ascot tucked into his tan.
It's a little khakis. Leopard skin ascot.
Yes.
He was driving the Spider-Mobile.
Oh, the buggy, the Dune buggy.
Natasha Romanoff is the Black Cat,
which we see here. She actually looks pretty good. That red striking against the Black Cat outfit.
I was much more excited for it when I thought it was going to be MJ.
I thought it was going to be MJ too. It's so obvious for using a redhead. But
I mean, Widow was in the first couple pages, so I'm like, okay.
We should have been good readers and just thought, okay, the foreshadowing is now being applied here.
And as you said, Hobgoblin Sorcerer Supreme.
And it's hilarious because he really is the Sorcerer Supreme.
It's so unexpected. I have no idea what they're going to do with this book.
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's a ton of fun. Peter David, one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man writers. Criminally underrated Spider-Man writer, too.
Oh, Peter David is actually one of my favorite writers, period.
Yeah, in case you couldn't tell from my shirt, I'm a big Peter David fan.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? It's not X Factor unless Peter David is writing it. And I'm going to say that now.
Yeah.
It's not Madrox unless Peter David is writing it. It's like the last Madrox series. Cute.
I like the Rosenberg one, but yeah, it definitely. It's not
Peter David.
It wasn't good enough to justify bringing Jamie back out of retirement.
Yeah. And it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Because then we got all the X-Men getting killed off immediately afterwards.
And of course, that means that the original Jamie Madrox is back.
Although, I'll say this, though. I really loved in that first arc of X-Men where Legion is putting all of his separate personalities and power sets into different dupes. I thought that was really cool use.
That is smart, actually. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. I'm excited though that we do have the nice clean slate because there's all these great stories that we can now revisit and like get the new drop on.
Oh yeah,
and we don't have to worry about the continuity. Screwing it up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of continuity in X titles that you really have to, there's a lot of minutia to slog through to tell the story that you want to, because you got to remember, okay, this person's dead. This person's redeemed. This person's got scars on their face. This person hates that person. This person's really part of their past and is actually their dad. There's a lot of this shit.
I feel like every few years we get a new X-Men title that's basically like, hey, don't worry about the past decade. You're good. Like we had that with Morrison's new X-Men. We had it with Joss Whedon's Astonishing. We're getting it now with Hawks and Pox.
You know, I think this is probably the perfect segue to go into our X titles for the month.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Wow, and they're next up on the list too.
Yeah, right. So we got New Mutants going on. A departure from the space storyline that's going on. A little side story with our boy Herman.
Glob Herman.
And Armor.
Yes.
Who I thought was Karma for a bit.
Oh, but she's in New Mutants. Oh, wait, we're in New Mutants.
We're in New Mutants.
Well, she's in space.
And her first few frames, she has short hair.
Yeah, Armor got a new haircut.
But we didn't see her leg. And that's what I was trying to figure out. Where's Karma's leg? Because Karma's had her leg ripped off. And even though everything is nice and rebooted, she still has the cybernetic leg.
I mean, she and Forge, they gotta stay repping.
Yeah. And she's like one of those persons that's like this obvious cybernetic leg. None of this stealth crap that Forge likes to pull off with his other leg. This thing is like all gaudy.
I mean, Forge's never been about stealthing that leg. He's been wearing those booty shorts since Life Death.
Well, Forge actually has two legs. One that's obvious and one not so, because it's lower on below his knee.
That's right. I always think of that Barry Windsor Smith cover though.
Oh yeah.
He's got those high basketball shorts.
I remember
robot leg.
They used that image in the Marvel Universe because he had the little cane on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Almost like Sinkovich.
Wait, are you not a Barry Windsor Smith fan?
Okay. My comic cred is now being called. I'm going to put my card on the table and I'm going to say I did not enjoy the Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine story.
You don't like Weapon X?
I don't.
Oh my god!
It looked too sloppy.
Oh,
you know you know how much I absolutely love clean comic lines. I don't like sloppy inks. I don't like sloppy.
Oh, but it's not
arts.
sloppy. It's so intricate.
It's
intricate.
I'm going to use the word soupy. You know, it looks like there's a soupy amount of art going on here.
Do you just not like his giant hair?
I don't like the giant hair.
I love that big old Logan, that mess.
I don't like the thick ink lines.
Okay, that's a reason. See, that's reasonable. I can see that.
Yeah. I
will say one thing. I'm not crazy about Barry Windsor Smith, and this actually goes back to that Life Death cover. His Storm face always looks really weirdly gaunt to me.
Yes, it always has this looking down kind of thing going on.
Which like Storm should look a little haughty, but I don't know. Her face just looks weird.
Well, because he relies so much on heavy ink lines, when you're drawing women, especially women in comic books, there's a particular grace you have to give them using thin lines to showcase their finer details, because with men it's all about their muscles are huge, they're tall, they have striking edges, but when it comes to women it's like you have to have a kind of softer edge and thinner lines. Windsor Smith doesn't do that, so he's got these heavy ink lines on Aurora, and she looks the way she does in that.
Before we get back to the task at hand, I do want to say that issue of X-Men he drew where it's Wolverine versus Lady Deathstrike in the snow. All-time great one. Do you remember that one?
I do.
Katie Powers there.
I've seen Barry Windsor Smith do Lady Deathstrike before. I've never liked the way that Lady Deathstrike looks.
Yeah, she's got a bad design. I'll give you that.
She really does. I don't like the skull cap. I've never liked the skull cap.
But man, when he draws all the intricacies of her bionics, and
when they're
Wolverine
stretched out,
slashing apart Reavers.
He does really well in that stuff.
Rules, yeah,
I have to say that I didn't really like Lady Deathstrike until she got rid of that outfit, and she became more of an anti-hero. And she was also, of course, part of my beloved Weapon X-Force.
And they used like the Kelly Hu X2 design for that, right? And just the black jumpsuit and the long fingers.
I'm going to say something about that. X2 bugs the shit out of me. And I'll say this why. Because Lady Deathstrike in this is mind controlled. And they kill her off just for the mind control to wear off and her to be like that. There she is.
Yeah.
You've just killed an innocent person. I hate that so much.
Yeah, I used to be in the X2 is the best.
There's our producer using his phone when the rest of ours is turned down because we're professionals.
That man is playing Galaga. But yeah.
Okay, back.
I used to be on the X2 is the best X-Men movie, but having rewatched them recently, of the original three, I think it might be my least favorite. It's got great bits in it. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, my boy Scott Summers is out of commission for 90% of the movie.
He really is. He's pulling a Hawkeye. Apparently, this is a common trope in superhero movies. Let's take one of the main characters and just completely cut him out of 2/3 of the movie.
But yeah, we've gotten way off track.
We really have. Let's go back to New Mutants number 3.
Yeah, this is a really, really fun kind of. I hope it's not just a one-off. I want to see more of this story. I really want to see what our boy Herman actually pops the question with. When I say pops the question, he wants to ask her out, but he doesn't know how to do it. And he knows that they're on this island, and there's a certain influence where everybody's really getting along, and Glob Herman isn't the outcast he normally is. I ship this pink love so hard.
I do too.
Pixie and Glob.
I think it would be adorable as hell.
I do think it's very funny. It probably kind of predictable that Ed Brisson would do a Glob Herman story because every X book he's done has featured Glob Herman.
Yeah. You know what? I'm following that. And I'm usually really rough on remembering a lot of writers, but I do know that this particular writer does tend to grab Herman from wherever he is and bring him into this.
I love Glob Herman too, so I'm glad to see him.
And he's had a bit of an arc. I mean, I remember when they first brought in Quentin Quire. And Quentin Quire was just an outright villain.
Oh, yeah. Riot at Xavier is one of my all-time favorite X-Men stories.
And Glob Herman's like, I'm going to go
He's a
do
sidekick.
This thing.
I'm the Inhuman Torch.
Yeah, and he was a horrible person.
Yeah,
Glob Herman was horrible.
Set himself on fire and chased a school bus.
That was hilarious.
That was so good.
That is so great. Look, let's show that. Let's show Glob Herman on fire here. This is great.
Oh, the Inhuman Torch. So good.
That was probably the best use of his power I've ever seen.
I really loved. Did you read the Spider-Man and the X-Men miniseries from a few years back?
Yes, I did, because that's when I found out that Storm really doesn't care for Spider-Man too much.
No, a buddy of mine had begged me to read it for years, and I finally did this past month, and I loved it. And one of my favorite bits is they're trying to bring in a ship. They're trying to land a spaceship, and they're like, it's going to burn up coming in. And Glob Herman's like, I mean, I can absorb heat real well. And so they just tie him to the nose of the spaceship, and he does it. He just catches on fire, but he redirects all the heat to himself.
Spider-Man and the X-Men is actually the birthplace of probably one of my all-time favorite comic book memes.
Is it?
It's Soren.
Yeah, I know.
It's
that
like,
one.
you have all this science knowledge. You could cure cancer. And Soren's like, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
And he's got his great team up with Stegron the Dinosaur Man, another dinosaur character who, for some reason, has hypnosis powers.
Yeah, that apparently is the thing. Hypnosis was a big thing in the 60s with Sauron, Stegron, and Mesmero.
Yeah.
Not so much these days.
What's his name? Ringmaster from the Circus of Crime.
Oh yeah, with the yeah. Man, that was apparently a big thing in the 60s.
Yes, so.
I guess because hypnotism was just becoming the hip thing.
Huh.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Man. So, but New Mutants. Let's actually talk about the book.
This is the biggest tangent we've gone off on a comic
we
ever.
just want to talk about the X-Men today.
We do. We love our X-Men.
But so Glob and Armor are going around trying to, kind of like the Marauders were doing, trying to help out mutants who couldn't get there. But they're more concerned on finding out why and on an individual level.
It's really all about Armor. And she's trying to talk Sage into it. And Sage is like,
here's some info for some mutants who haven't shown up yet. You can go find out if you want.
And please don't drag me into it.
Oh, Sage. Always the worst.
Always the aloof one that doesn't really want to have to do anything.
But they go and find a pair of some of my favorite mutants ever.
Beak and Angel.
Yes. Oh. Also, I found out Beak is Dutch, apparently.
I didn't know this. And of course, this we should clarify. When we're talking about Angel, we're talking about the second Angel. There was another mutant, an African-American mutant with insect wings. You probably saw her in X-Men First Class.
Mm-hmm. Angel Salvador.
Exactly.
She's got bug wings.
Hence the name.
She spits acid. She lays eggs.
Which apparently is why she's got crap loads of children from Beak.
She and Beak have like a dozen kids, and they all have, to varying degrees, elements of their parents.
Yeah, Beak's eyes, her wings, the clawed feet, just a variety of crazy mutant children.
But yeah, so the reason Beak hasn't gone to Krakoa is because he has to take care of his dad, who has a pretty rapidly accelerating mental disease.
An MMD, apparently, and there was a write-up on this in Classman Hickman style explaining what this does, is you slowly forget to do things. I mean, to a level unheard of. Like your body will forget how to breathe. You'll forget how to walk, and you're just basically sitting there. And after about a year, it's 100% fatal.
Yeah.
Now, whether this is real or not, I don't know.
I wasn't sure either.
I didn't research it,
but
it seems real.
Yeah, they do cure it though.
It sounds horrible.
They use those sweet Krakoan drugs.
I like that. I like the fact that they cured him, and they didn't turn it into a tragedy tale.
Yeah.
I hate it when they do stuff like that. I mean, when I enjoy when the heroes have the ability to do something really good for somebody and they do it. I hate it when they have something really good, but the story turns horrible. Someone dies. Everyone hates each other. It just sours. It becomes a Greek tragedy. I've never been a fan of that particular storyline. Yeah. And I'm glad it didn't turn out well.
I really loved how this concluded. And we're definitely getting a part 2 because it does end on a cliffhanger.
It does.
With Beak's kids being held for ransom as a group wants to steal some of those sweet Krakoan drugs.
Yeah, and apparently they've got a rocket that depowers you. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. So we'll see. I really, really dug this interlude. And honestly, I kind of wish it was its own series. I love Glob Herman, and I love the fact that we're also revisiting Armor. Yeah, Armor's a really, really cool mutant.
Yeah, we really haven't seen much of her in years.
Yeah, she's been kind of just lumped in with the other like Academy X era kids. Mm-hmm. So
we also find out that a majority of the younger mutants are actually broken up into different camps, with the Alpha camp being the New Mutants and the Omega camp being redacted. And you got like the new Generation X
kids. New X kids.
Well, they've got New X-Men is like the Beta House.
Yeah.
And Generation X is the Gamma House. And basically all the kid teams that you've ever seen in an X-Men book have their own house.
I'm really glad because I love all of my X children. I'm always sad when every time there's a new generation of X kids, the last ones get forgotten.
I'm going to say that the Omega House is the Hellions.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of Hellions, and the Hellions did die like crazy.
And what's his name? The rockety
Empath.
One. Empath, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking Empath because the Hellions book is Empath starting in it.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like Rockslide or something like that?
No, I was talking about who's the one who was like the evil cannonball, but he could turn.
Jetstream.
There we go. Jetstream was who I was thinking of.
Great cover. Probably one of my all-time favorite New Mutants covers. And it's number 17. Background's bright red.
A Bill Sienkiewicz cover. And it's his first for the series.
I have to say it. I really like that cover. Because it's simple.
Yeah.
You know, I think, and that's it wasn't like
it's very striking.
It's not some artistic mess.
Rude. Just cruel. But anyways, on to our next and last X book for the week.
X-Force.
X-Force number 3. Xavier's back.
Xavier's back.
Papa's back in the house.
Yep, and it's really Xavier because you see his eyes open up. And he's got the little Vulcan Submariner eyebrows that they like to put on him so much.
I just imagine him coming out of the little egg and just immediately.
Yup.
Gotta get him straight.
Man. I gotta say, Xavier does have a bit of suaveness to him since Hickman has gotten control of it.
Comes down in his onesie and his helmet.
Yeah.
Strutting like a professional wrestler.
And I like the fact that the public at large, the humanity at large, has heard rumors that Xavier took one for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're concerned about that. And just as they're starting to really rile up and Magneto's like, I'm barely gonna have to talk with these people because this is what I do now. Xavier just struts out, goes, man, I'm doing just fine. Don't you worry about me. Don't you worry about us.
Like, it really does feel like a pro wrestling promo, and I love it. Really
does. But I think that right now we're looking at Charles Xavier being the mutant Tony Stark. As far as suaveness,
just being the face, the cool guy.
And I wonder if this is really because of
I'm a cool dad.
No, that also means he's not rocking Fantomas's body anymore because he doesn't need to. So where's our buddy Fantomas?
That's a good question.
He's got to show up.
He'll probably show up. He probably showed up in the background of X-Force number 2 and everyone's being sad.
We need to go back to that friggin' insert. Okay, this. Okay, there he is.
Yeah. I'll say this about this issue. This is the first time I felt like the text pages would have been better served as comic pages. Because they're really just basically prose here.
Yeah.
They're not like an in-universe thing, you know?
No. I did like how they kind of put Domino back together.
Yes.
That was really cool.
I loved how when they're losing the tide of the fight and then Logan's like, oh, yeah, and just claws her power collar off.
Because she points to the fact that their powers are cut because she's near them.
Yeah.
And now after that, man, now
you
got
a lucky streak.
Yeah, who knew? And she's got a rough. She's missing like an eye.
She's missing half of her skin.
Yeah, it's a rough time. But our boy Quinn apparently knows how to block pain. Yeah. And gave her a little psionic skeleton. It was like, all right. I love Domino.
Yeah.
I love Domino.
Big Domino fan.
I'm a big Domino fan. And I loved every solo book they've given Domino, she has rocked. Whether it's the storyline that they're giving her or the costumes that they're giving her. I think give Domino the best costumes.
I don't like her current costume.
I don't like the current one, but I do like the one that she had in the solo series that she was just in, where she has that white front.
Yeah, no, that's that one. I do not like that one.
I love that one.
It makes her look like she's not wearing a top. Like it looks like she's just wearing sleeves. I do not like it. Like, especially,
what's wrong with you?
Especially, it's a bad costume design.
I love that.
I hate it.
I love it so much.
I just think it looks ridiculous.
Okay, so now that we've gotten this big dialogue about this great costume, great costume, here it is. Make your own assessments about how wrong Gideon is.
It's bad. The plain black catsuit was way better.
I don't know. It looks too plain.
I liked the kind of purpley Brian Stelfreeze look she had in the early 2000s. She had kind of like some of the fishnet crosshatch on there.
Yeah, that was the one that she had in her first solo book.
Yeah, I like that.
Back when she had like the shaved sides and the short hair.
Yeah, that was a good look.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just agree on this.
Okay.
Better than the Rob Liefeld design.
Oh my God, yes.
Cross the aisle, trying to shake your hand.
Oh, yes.
Casey got too emotional. Had to take a
moment.
Could not see my hand outstretched.
I could not take a moment. There's so many things that I dislike in the comic industry, but you know for a fact that Rob Liefeld is number one on that.
And you know what? I will say this for Domino, has a much better costume track record than Jean Grey.
Truth. Jean Grey's costume is not a winner.
No, like the only good one. I
don't know what kind of retro thing she's trying to pull off.
The only two good costumes she has is the new X-Men costume, which was uniform, so doesn't count, and the original Phoenix costume that was given to her by Spacebird. Yep. So not her choice.
Cockrum knew how to put costumes together.
Such a good look.
Who knew that thigh highs and costume gloves would be the way to go?
Sashes, man. Sashes rule.
Sashes were a thing. It's right. He did Miss Marvel's outfit.
Yeah, exactly. God, big sash man.
He did it.
But
R.I.P. Cockrum.
Oh man. But X-Force number 3, good issue. Would have liked to have seen Magneto presenting Xavier that sword made of Cerebro.
I wanted to see that.
That'd have been cool. Don't know why we needed the prose bits.
And I want to say this, that of all the X titles that are out right now, we're not really getting a lot of Wolverine. This seems like the only book that's showcasing
Well, he's
him.
getting his own book like next month. So.
I know, but
not next 2 months.
I feel like and I thought I would never ever say this being a comic fan. I don't see enough Wolverine.
Whenever Logan's not on the page, the reader needs to be asking, where's Logan?
And I feel like if I say his name 3 times, he's just going to be everywhere again. And it's going to be like the 90s. Oh, what's the matter? Is this book slogging? Put a Wolverine guest.
In his most gratuitous guest appearance yet.
I mean, Wolverine and Sabretooth were in an issue of Power Pack, for God's sakes. Number 27, by the way. I know, because I own
a
it.
Power Pack's going to get real when the X-Men show up.
I was telling you.
Inferno.
All right, so
traumatizing.
We're going to take a little break here before we transition into the news aspect of things. So enjoy my my producer and his phone talking about how great Haphazard Fiction is.
Be right back, guys.
Hey guys, this is Brooke with Haphazard Fiction, and welcome to episode 16 of Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week. We are officially on the road, so if you see us out there, watch out, because we're young drivers and we don't know what the hell we're doing behind the wheel here. But our insurance, we got it, and it's super expensive. And if you'd like to help us out with that, we definitely still have room for some patrons out there. You can join us on Patreon.com and search Haphazard Fiction and find us there, and drop us a couple bucks to help us keep on the road. But other than that, we just really want to make some friends. So if you're up for it, throw us a subscribe, throw us some likes, give us some comments, help us become better. Tell us what you guys would like to see. Tell us what you guys don't like. Whatever you can do to help us out over here would be greatly appreciated. We do appreciate you guys listening as usual. And I'll take you back to Casey and Gideon now with Hazardous Materials.
And we're back. And our first little bit of news is a show that I haven't gotten to watch yet, but Casey's pretty well caught up on, the Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover.
Yep. 3 episodes have been out so far. I've seen the first couple, and some of the cameos are really cool. I'm a sucker for stunt casting. I really am. I ever since they brought back Stephen Colbert for Harvey Birdman and just outright, stunt casting last minute. They brought back Robert Wolf from the original Batman movie in this
I saw that, and my initial reaction was like, well, I guess this is the best we can get from those Batman movies.
Yeah.
Although I told you what I wanted from those Batman movies earlier.
Yeah, you want Chris.
Yes. I wanted Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson Batman. Would have ruled. Would have been great.
So they really have been running the gamut. They hit Smallville, and I really like that. They actually gave all the fans of Smallville will want to see this because they gave the character a proper book and ending. By the time you've seen this, it's on you if you have not been watching it. So we're going to talk a little bit about the content of this episode.
But does he save somebody?
He doesn't. Well, it turns out Lex Luthor has decided, you know what? I hate Superman so much. I'm going to go around and start killing Superman. So he kills one Superman in Superman 75 style on, wait for it, Earth 75. So he does that. And then he shows up on the Smallville Earth, getting ready to check out our boy Clark, who is back on the ranch, no glasses, but he's clearly had a career as Superman because as you pan through his living room, he's got news articles. Superman saves the Earth again, and all these adventures you didn't get to watch because you sat through 10 seasons of freaking non-Superman Smallville. So he's clearly a little aged, got a little pepper in his hair and all this kind of stuff. He's with Lois Lane. He's got kids. Lex Luthor shows up and he goes, ha ha ha, I'm going to kill you. And Superman's like, who are you? It's like, I'm Lex Luthor. You don't look anything like my Lex Luthor. And you find out that Lex Luthor is currently president of the United States.
Good for Michael Rosenbaum. Yeah. I mean, he didn't get to be in the episode, but
no. And they asked him, and he said no.
I don't blame him, frankly.
Yeah, because they wouldn't. Shave his head, wear a skin cap. I don't know. Where is Michael? What has he been doing since this? I mean, aside from being Wally West for a while.
I don't know. Not sure where he's been.
Well, apparently he decided this was not his gig. And that's fine.
Hey, if you can say no to that, power to you. Yeah,
so our boy Lex pulls out a big chunk of kryptonite. Ha ha ha, I'm going to use this kryptonite to kill you. And our boy Smallville's like, just chucks it into the cornfield. No big deal. Turns out that he has voluntarily lost his powers so that he can have children with Lois Lane. And that's smart thinking. The Arrowverse has actually addressed how a Superman can have kids with Lois Lane and not completely kill her. And the answer has always been depower. That's what they did with the Superman from Supergirl Earth. Mm-hmm. He went to Argo City, lost his powers, had a kid. So that's what Smallville did. And that's the end of Smallville. He's working back on the Kent farm. He's got 2 girls. He's married to Lois Lane. And he's not Superman anymore. And he's still strong enough to beat the crap out of John Cryer, Lex Luthor, and this is exactly what he does.
You know, speaking of stunt casting, I'm still in love with casting John Cryer, who was Lenny Luthor in Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
That was not lost on me. And I know that's what they were thinking when they did this.
But he's real damn good from what I've seen.
Yes, and this was my first exposure because I stopped watching Supergirl in season 1, so I've not seen John Cryer, Lex Luthor until this crossover. It's like, okay.
Oh, his introduction scene in Supergirl is phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah. So
I'm intrigued.
So Lex Luthor gives himself cancer as like a public sympathy bid on the chance that he can figure out how to cure cancer, which he does.
Because he's Lex Luthor.
Such a classic Lex Luthor bit. And he has Miss Tessmacher. He has Otis. It's great.
Every time I hear Tessmacher, I want to yell her name.
Miss Tessmacher!
Miss Tessmacher! I can't say it over the mic because I will just totally wreck it. So, yeah, we have John Cryer as Lex Luthor. We got Brian Routh reprising his role as Superman.
I saw a clip of that, and I was great. And I know he's Kingdom Come Superman, but I thought it was absolutely hysterical that he mournfully looks at the headline of the Daily Planet attack, and they just use the Alex Ross painting from Kingdom Come. Yes. Like, what newspaper's running a painting of an event?
Hey, had photographers. It's the old school. You know some of the old school cartoony things that were modern. We're still using 50s style vehicles and stuff like that. It's that old school.
It took me
the
hell out. Like, I can appreciate sneaking in. It's like, oh, we'll do an Alex Ross painting from the book, but it just completely took me out of it. I'm like, what newspaper is using paintings on the front page?
And it kind of heavily implies that the Kingdom Come Superman is the same Superman that we saw in Superman Returns. Because Superman Returns is really a sequel to Superman 2. Mm-hmm. It's
a bad sequel, but it is one.
It's a bad sequel. It's you could have done a lot better than what is essentially kind of a remake of the first one.
A really bad remake of the first one. Deadbeat Dad Superman. I'm never forgiving that.
So he gets into a fight with the Supergirl. I'm going to call it the Earth 38 Superman because that's what it is. He gets into a fight with him because Luthor corrupts him. He's like, I'm so bored killing Superman. I want to see Superman killing Superman. And they go through that whole thing. At the end, he goes, it's not the first time I fought one of my Dark Devils. Talking, of course, about
Superman 3.
The
it's only good scene in Superman 3.
Yeah. And, of course, that great meme of Superman just throwing him back at the bar. That's great. I have not seen the third episode. I hear there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I'm still really thrilled to see what other cameos they've been holding secret. Because I didn't know that Robert Wool was going to be in it, and that was great. Right off the bat, boom. All right, fan service made.
But more important than that, holy Crimson Skies of Death.
Oh, that's right, the Burt Ward appearance.
With Ace the Bat Hound.
Oh, so yeah, sweet. Burt Ward's put on a little few pounds, but hey, you know what? He was wearing the colors, and he had Ace with him, and he said the line, all right, Burt, you've done your work.
So, moving right along.
Yep.
So Game of Thrones creators Benioff and Weiss are developing a Lovecraft movie. Why? Why? I saw a tweet that was like, is their job now just announcing they're attached to projects that will never get made just to piss people off?
Oh, you know what? And everybody likes to talk about Lovecraft. Everybody likes to refer to Lovecraft. But doing a Lovecraftian film of any sort is a Herculean effort.
You're better suited doing like an episode. I would prefer a TV anthology show just because his work is primarily in the short story field.
I mean, the best they've ever really done.
100 pages?
Yeah. The Call of Cthulhu is like a novelette.
Yeah.
A novella or whatever you want to call it. I know that didn't John Carpenter, he did In the Mouth of Madness, right?
Yes.
That was pretty decent. Mm-hmm. But it was highly limited on what it could do.
Huge fan of Reanimator, one of my favorite movies ever, but definitely not a strict adaptation of the story it's based on. From Beyond is From Beyond is in that same kind of school of adopting Lovecraftian themes and ideas, but being a very goofy, schlocky exploitation movie.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would love to see somebody with real skill take Call of Cthulhu and do something with it.
Guillermo del Toro was developing Mountains of Madness for years, and then now we're just getting Masters of Subtlety, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Yeah.
It just feels like a slap in the face after years of waiting for Guillermo. It happened to me before with The Hobbit. It's happening for me with this.
Gentleman's bet. I don't think this ever will happen.
You know what? I'm not taking that bet because I want that to happen and B, it's a sucker's pet. It's going to be like their Star Wars trilogy. It's not happening.
Well, moving right along, you want to talk a little bit about the Robin 80 Years One Shot.
So DC, in the vein of Action 1000, Detective 1000, Wonder Woman 750, and Flash 750, want to give one of their big tentpole characters a big 80th anniversary special.
Mm-hmm.
Downside is Robin does not have the numerous issue numbers to support such a big anthology story.
Yeah, he
so
does not have a legacy number.
Yeah,
no.
so it's the 80th anniversary special. But this one, it's got a ton of Robin creators who I absolutely adore working on this. You've got Marv Wolfman, Tom Grummett, Chuck Dixon. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his first name.
Drew Grayson.
Devin Grayson. Dan Jurgens.
Judd Winnick.
Scott McDaniel. That's who I was waiting on. Judd Winnick. Norm Rapman. Tim Seeley. Tom King. Michael Yannon. James Tinian. Peter Tomasi.
That's pretty much every writer that's ever touched a Robin book.
Pretty much everyone who's done like the solo Robin or Nightwing books.
Because I was hearing some of the titles, and those are the writers I remember back when Tim Drake did his first solo book.
Mm-hmm. I was... Yeah, like the Robin 1, 2, and 3 minis, the Robin ongoing.
Which are great.
Yeah, Nightwing's ongoing series from the 90s.
The drastic change in his outfit, giving him a black cape and leggings and stuff like that. That's a big deal. Because, man, Robin was rocking the Speedos and the Robin
up until he got beat to death with a crowbar.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time.
Yeah. And so like these other ones are having decade variant covers because, of course, you have to campus buy one copy of a $10 comic. So you're getting the 40s cover by Jim Lee, 50s cover by Totino Tedesco, 60s cover by Dustin Wen, 70s cover by Care Andrews, 80s cover by Frank Miller, so probably going to be Carrie Kelly, 90s cover by Jim Chung, 2000s cover by Derek Chu, and the 10s cover by Yasmin Putri.
I really wish that the 80s cover had been George Perez.
Yeah, me too.
That's a missed opportunity.
Although it is not just a Dick Grayson thing; it is a celebration of all Robins.
All Robins.
So
are we going to see Stephanie Brown included in this celebration?
Yeah, they mentioned that there will be a Stephanie Brown story in there.
Good.
And
I still love her as Batgirl.
Yeah, it's the best Batgirl run.
All right.
I mean, I've got friends who will go to bat for Cassie Kane, but I really love those 24 Stephanie Brown issues
because it was a nice black and purple outfit. I really love the outfit. But I am a Cassandra Cain fan.
Yeah, I love Cassie Kane too.
And I think she's wasted in the Birds of Prey movie. Yeah.
But I'll say this, Cassie Kane never fought 24 Draculas as Supergirl.
Dracula, where the hell's my money? You nerd. Oh my God, man. Moon Knight forever. Moving on, we got a couple of trailers that popped up recently. Wonder Woman 84 and the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Wonder Woman, amazing.
Yes.
Oh my God. Ruled so hard.
The woman roped lightning.
Yeah. I love how much lasso stuff is in this trailer. I love when she threw her tiara and knocked out stuff like Linda Carter did. I
like the fact that Chris Pine's in this.
Yeah. I love
I have no idea how.
I love that the trailer didn't give away any of the plot.
Yeah.
I love it shows you, here are the players. Here's Wonder Woman doing cool shit. We know you're going to see it.
And here's Chris Pine. No explanation. And I'm like, cool. Because I was really heartbroken that we moved on 70 years, obviously killing poor Chris Pine, and here he is. So I'm like, cool.
Also, that Blue Monday cover, amazing.
The entire, I got goosebumps from that.
It's gone on my Spotify. I was like,
I'm such a fan of New Order. So to hear that it's obviously not done by New Order, but done by somebody else. But they did a great job with it.
Sounds kick ass.
It's so good.
I'm always a sucker for machine gun drum beats.
Goosebumps. They're all up and down my shoulders. Oh, that's such a good thing. All right. Now we're going to talk about one of my gigantic fandoms. I am a colossal Ghostbusters fan. I got all kinds of crazy ass Ghostbusters stuff in my house. So I've been waiting for this Afterlife trailer for a while.
Yeah, I'm pretty lukewarm on it.
I am lukewarm on it because it's not giving me the comedy beats I expect from the movies. It
takes itself way too seriously.
And I think it's because it's trying to showcase the nostalgia. It's trying to get you with nostalgia.
It's the Force Awakens trailer.
It really is. And it even has the Spielberg chime.
Are we gonna get a sad piano cover of the Ghostbusters theme?
Yeah. And it's not even really I think it's almost akin to being a teaser, because you get the Ecto-1 doing its for just a little bit, enough to get your attention. And then, of course, it shows the jump seat.
My favorite thing about the trailer is doing the gunner seat from the toy.
Yeah.
Like, I love goofy toy shit like that.
So it took me a couple of times to actually watch this trailer to absolutely confirm without a doubt that this is Egon's family. Mm-hmm. And I was able to find that out because his collection of sports molds and fungus is in the trailer.
Yeah, I pegged that pretty quickly.
And I had to find a trailer version that wasn't as dark. So when she pulls back the jumpsuits,
you can see it's a Spengler.
It's Spengler. So I was like, cool. That's respectful.
Here's the thing, though. This doesn't mean that Egon had settled down, had a family, and then just left to go hunt ghosts. Which, you know what? Fair. Totally in character.
Yeah. I'm thinking that this is where he put Ecto-1 when they went with the Ecto-1A, which had different stuff all over it. A completely different car.
And had a sick Run DMC track back in it.
Yeah. And a little digital line. We're for hire, like a taxi cab. In my head, my own personal headcanon is that they decided to get a new car. And it was like, okay, well, we got this other car. We don't have any room for it. You know what? I'm just gonna have it shipped back to my old farm and have it tarped, and that's the end of that.
But where are the steampunk cars and the orangutans? I believe that Ghostbusters 2 words contains.
Hey, wait a minute, sir. Hold your tongue. This is not Filmation.
This is the real Ghostbusters.
How dare you?
Well, how can this be the real Ghostbusters if Egon doesn't have blonde hair and red glasses?
Oh my God. We could talk for a while about the politics behind Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters, and the fact that the film didn't even get the rights to Ghostbusters as a name until the very last minute. And it's because one of the producers of Ghostbusters went over to the company that owned Filmation. Mm-hmm. So when he quit Columbia and went over to this other house, he goes, oh, hey, by the way, I run Filmation. Give them the name, and they got it at the last moment.
Oh my God! I just made a connection. So
I've been Ghost Breakers.
Oh man, that's worse.
It was awful.
That's much worse. Breaking makes me feel good.
They actually had to do every scene that they said Ghostbusters in. They had to do another scene with Ghost Breakers in it. Ugh. And the time that they decided not to do it is that, remember that scene where the Ghostbusters show up at the hotel and they got the crowd chanting their name? Mm-hmm. One of the producers was on the phone while they were running that scene, and he was talking to people at Columbia. He's like, listen, we need this name. Listen to this. And you hear the crowd chanting it. And he goes, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this again with Ghost Breakers. We've got to get this freaking name. And they got it.
Nice.
So that's where I'm at with that.
I'm going to say so I've been rewatching Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., which is the best piece of Scooby-Doo media and just a great animated show of the last decade, criminally underrated. There's a bit where they're going through former Mystery Incs., one of which is a steampunk group of teens with a pet orangutan. And I'm just now making the connection to Filmation's Ghostbusters. And it's so good.
Ghostbusters.
And I think, with that little bit of busting, I think it's going to call it for this week.
Yeah. We're running a little out of time. We don't want to drag this on. I know we know you got other things to do, eat your lunch, all that kind of stuff. But hey, episode 16. We're still we're less than 20 episodes. We still need your support if you could. We got a Patreon site. Hit it up. We got stuff hidden on there. I'd be glad to hide more stuff there to get more people on it.
It's true. Give us a little Christmas present.
We really need it. We should get a Twitch. That's a story for another thing. I'm totally blanking out of what we've got.
We've got Instagram. We've got Twitter. We got a Facebook, right? Yeah, we got a Facebook.
Yeah, we got a Facebook.
Yeah, I share the videos from there.
Yeah, all of our videos go straight to our Facebook site. And hey, a little promotion for me. I also do another thing on Facebook called My Comic Book Facts, where I basically showcase newly popular pop culture heroes that like entered into like the MCU or stuff like that people may not know about or want information about. This also can apply to DC characters, and I'll do like large write-ups and kind of do an explanation to the casual fan on the backgrounds of newly important characters.
You know what? New Year's resolution. I'm going to finish writing that Doom Patrol deep dive, and we're finally going to get our deep dives done next year.
That's right. We need to get our deep dives.
I'm calling that right now.
We did that like 7 episodes. We were doing that deep dive, and then we got into the details. It was like, oh my God, this is going to be so big.
Yeah. Another writing project had come up for me. And so I kind of played it on the back burner, but I was like, damn, I need to finish that.
We need to finish that.
People got to know how much I hate John Byrne's Doom Patrol.
People got to know about Moon Knight. Oh, yes. Last bit of effort. Last bit of news. Kevin Feige has announced that both She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Moon Knight are all going to be released in 2020.
Oh, cool.
So we're not going to drag our feet on that one.
They better start casting them soon.
They said they're already casting, and some have actually been secretly shooting already.
Wow.
I know.
Most impressive.
I want to know what their Moon Knight is. Anyway, thanks for coming.